Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms, and we're going to start a new series, and this series is going to be survival radio. Now, when we use the term survival radio, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We're going to discuss some of the common definitions of a survival radio. And in SurvivalComms channel fashion, this is going to be a learning series. This is going to be not just me showing you things that you could spend your money on, but things that you could build yourself to make whatever system you choose more effective. The contemporary definition of survival radio is a device that perhaps one of these military aviators would use to facilitate their own recovery and rescue, whether that be with just using a beacon or being able to establish a two-way talk path with those who are searching for you. And this is a fantastic book, by the way, but it's got a lot of different radios in it and some of your earlier ones. These are really neat radios here, the URC-68s. But you can see it just gives you an overview of each particular radio set. Many of these particular radios are slave to providing only a two-way talk path and beacon functionality on the either civil air distress frequency of 121.5 megahertz or the military aviation distress frequency of 243 megahertz. However, our newer radios, such as the PRC-112s, do also have the ability to have a couple of other channels in the military aviation spectrum programmed into it. This is an earlier version of the PRC-112, and the other ones now have a lot more goodies that are built into it as well. But that just gives you an idea of the genesis of the term survival radio. We've discussed tactical radios in the past, and by tactical radio I don't mean guns and camo, I mean a radio that's designed for task accomplishment, which basically is pre-programmed with whatever frequencies that particular organization or group of individuals is utilizing to fulfill said tasks. Now, this radio in and of itself could also be considered a survival radio based upon your own communications plan and your ability to call for assistance if that assistance is needed during the accomplishment of said tasks. Here's another example, is your Marine handheld radio. It certainly can be a radio utilized to accomplish tasks and also as a survival tool. If you had to abandon your vessel and you happen to have one of these, which you should, in your lifeboat bag, and you end up in your life raft, even if you've got an EPIRB or whatever have you, if you see a vessel on the horizon, it'd be awful nice to be able to facilitate a two-way talk path. In that same vein, we have our Civil Aviation Portable here, which is a tool for task accomplishment and can also be utilized as a survival tool. I mean, it's nice to have all the gizmos that give your GPS location, like an EPIRB, etc. However, those are a spot on a map, and it's always nice to be able to establish a two-way talk path with that aircraft that's flying overhead looking for you. But now you've seen how radios from various services can be pressed into use as survival radios per se. Perhaps it's someone who just wants to gather information in the wake of a disaster, or someone who's a ham radio operator who happens to like going backpacking, or someone in the preparedness community, etc., etc. You know, what does a survival radio mean to them? My take on the survival radio for individuals is what I call the multi-tool concept. And what I mean by the multi-tool concept is your Leatherman tool, although it's not the equivalent of your entire toolbox at home, is something you have on or about your person that enables you to accomplish tasks that you would not otherwise be able to accomplish. The first parameter is it needs to be lightweight. This is something that you're going to carry in a 72-hour bag, or something that you're going to carry in your EDC bag, or something that is going to be available to you when you need it. When we talk about weight, we're not just talking about the weight of the radio itself, but we're talking about the weight of the entire technical package, which is the support accessories and the radio itself. Number two, it needs to be practical. The radio needs to have a feature set that's practical for fulfilling this multi-tool concept. Having other esoteric features within the radio, while certainly would be interesting if you could fit it into the same form factor and fulfill all of the other capabilities outlined here. Number three, it needs to be reliable and capable. And by reliable, I mean that if you have to apply percussion technique to the chassis of the radio to get it to operate and to keep it operating, it's probably not reliable. And also, you get what you pay for. So when you select your equipment based upon not price as much as the reliability and proven history of the equipment you're going to field. The radio that you select needs to be capable of supporting your communications plan. Frequency agility and interoperability. Frequency agility, the radio should be front panel programmable, which means that you can directly enter frequencies into the radio itself, and that the radio has a VFO functionality, which is certainly desirable, and it should be multi-band capable. Again, as in the multi-tool concept, the more bits you have in your multi-tool. One of the large considerations to make in selecting a radio for this role is going to be expanded receive, considering that the majority of the time you're going to be using your radio to gather information rather than actively transmitting. An expanded receiver in your transceiver or survival radio is extremely desirable. And it goes without saying that your radio should be interoperable, meaning that your radio does not utilize as its primary mode of operation some kind of strange mode or modulation scheme that inhibits its ability to communicate with most common LMR or ham radio equipment. And 5, our radio needs to be sustainable. What that means is that you need to be able to sustain the operation of the radio for longer than one operational period. And that means to either have an extra battery pack and a means to recharge your radio. And that's extremely desirable because this is our one-tool option, and being able to support our one-tool option is extremely important in the long term. Well, now we've defined what survival radio means for the purposes of our video series, and it's my hope that this gives you some food for thought for selecting equipment for your communications plan. If you want to share your ideas, I would encourage you to put it in the comments section because I'd like to hear it. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.